And you mentioned
Right.
something earlier about like the content that I put out on my social media, like my Instagram
Yep.
pages. And I think what you were probably referring to is my statement that I put about being a visionary, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I think is very important, us as visionaries, or just anyone as a content creator, is not trying to persuade people to see your vision. And I think that's very important. I'm only interested in dealing with people that already see the vision, because I don't have time to persuade you. I don't have time to convince you. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I need
Yeah.
people that are already like, yo, I see it, I understand it, I'm with it, I love the mission, I love the goal. What's the process?
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Kevin Allen here. Welcome to another episode of K-Al Experience. So I just got done chatting with Tisha Monee of Kemistry TV Networks, and she is just an incredible person. We just have a lot in common. She's working on and about to release a streaming TV network on Roku. I connected with her through social media and kind of through a mutual friend on social media, someone who I actually interviewed one of her closest friends, Zure Mitchell. So I'll put in the comment, I'll put in the comments, and maybe I'll even do one of the cards up here or something. I'm super excited for you guys to check it out. I think you'll be uplifted. We were both just talking about how exciting it'll be to be able to have this content to look back on a few years from now. We talked about like our 5-year sort of plan where we both see ourselves, and she's doing some really dope stuff with that content. So you guys can look out for that on January 3rd. Excited for you guys to check out the episode. I truly hope that you enjoy it, and let me know what you think in the comments below. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing great.
Good.
Yes, I will not complain.
I was thinking about how our paths crossed somehow on social
Mm-hmm.
media a few weeks ago, and I just remember looking at your content
Mm-hmm.
and seeing, a sister who's doing something just from the look of that first impression, the first impression on Instagram. I'm like, okay, this looks
Mm-hmm.
super dope. What's going on here? We had an awesome
Mm-hmm.
conversation on the phone, and we find out that a close friend of yours is someone who I recently interviewed, Zure, on my show as well.
Yes.
And I'm just super excited to talk
Yes.
a little bit about, Kemistry TV Network and, your plans
Mm-hmm.
for it and your background and all that stuff. So let's start off. And I'm just going to give you an opportunity to just maybe introduce yourself to my audience, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, well, my name is Letitia Cooper, but I'm very well known as Tisha Monee, like a media enthusiast. I have a background in as a media correspondent. I've worked in the media for about 7 years. I have a BA in communications, media and film broadcasting. I graduated from Kane University in Union, so
Nice.
I'm my KU peeps.
Nice. My sister went there.
So
Yeah.
yes, I have a very oh really?
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Sure did.
So I have an extensive background in media. I'm very passionate about it. I'm very passionate about communication because it's how we operate as a human race, right? Like us talking right now, our technology, like communication is such an influential tool, and it's just how we operate as people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's very important how we use this tool, because as we've seen through the news media, through the internet, social media, it's so influential, and it can be used negatively or positively. And I definitely want to use my platform to educate, enlighten, and uplift. So that is what Kemistry TV is all about.
Okay.
I am, yeah. So it's a network that is coming to Roku. January 3rd is the day, 2021. So you guys watch out.
Awesome.
And it's
Awesome.
really geared towards, I like to say, the liberated minds and the free thinkers of the world. It's very open-minded. It's very unorthodox. Some of the things that we discuss, some things are taboo in regards to my talk shows and
Mm-hmm.
other content creators that I have collaborated with. We really broaden the spectrum of conversation than what you would normally see on commercialized television.
That's super dope. I mean, when we were talking on the phone, Tisha, I remember the conversation revolving around your show that you just mentioned, the talk show that's premiering on January 3rd. And then
Hmm.
sort of midway in the conversation is when I sort of realized that you're not only doing that, but you're also, like you mentioned just now, you have plans to collaborate with other content creators and kind of have a list or a group of different shows from all different sort of avenues kind of provided on this one platform, which I think is super dope and super ambitious. And that's like one of the things that I got to be honest, like I really, really love, connecting with people who are doing something that clearly they're passionate about, and they know that whatever it is that they're doing and those goals that they have are ambitious, but they're like inspired to make it happen. And in turn, I just always get super inspired by that. And just after you and I finished talking that day a couple of weeks ago, I'm just pacing around the house. I'm like, okay, this is some great information here, you know?
I must admit, I was very inspired during our conversation as well. Definitely connecting with other intellectuals, with other people that are passionate and ambitious, as you stated. It really sparked something in me because it lets me know that there are other people out there that I can network with, that I can connect with and collaborate and continue these projects. I'm working with a bunch of dope content creators. I have a lot of things coming to the network. If you go to the website right now, you can see it. So we're still in the I guess, what do you call it? Like the building stage of the website and the actual network itself that's going to premiere on Roku. I have a team that's building all like the tech stuff, right? Like the back end stuff.
Right.
So it's really coming together. I'm super excited. I'm also super nervous, but yeah, I think it's definitely going to be amazing. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I can hear the passion in your voice for sure. So let's circle back to the start of Chemistry TV Network. And you mentioned that you worked in media for about 7 years. Did you have this idea to start your own network while you were, working professionally, or did that kind of happen on the tail end?
On the tail end, I would say this idea sparked about 2 years ago. I had the idea of really I really didn't have a network in my mind. I had just a media company. I wanted to own a media company, production, right? When I initially thought of it, I didn't say, oh, I want my own television network, right? Like I would just want to broadcast. So this kind of just came together. But I knew I wanted to be an owner of something, some sort in the media, industry. So, 2 years ago, August of 2018 is when it was like the summer of 2018, excuse me, around like June, July is when I had the idea. I found out that I was with child in August of 2018. So that kind of like put my, it kind of put it not on the back end, but, I wanted to focus on my pregnancy. I wanted to be very present in that. So then, fast forward, I had my beautiful baby girl. I started working back in corporate. Thank you. And then COVID hit, right? So now fast forward, we're in 2020, we're in like March, COVID is like rising, it's peaking. And I was hired for another job. I was going to start a new corporate position. I ended up losing that due to COVID. So I was unemployed, right? So I have all this time on my hands. I'm just like, this is the time to just really, really like hit the ground running with my business. And that's what I did. I literally, when I say I hit the ground running, I was like the Flash. It was like, I created the LLC. It was the business plan. Then I created the LLC. Then I started getting everything together as far as like actually creating the network, reaching out to content creators, talking to the people at Roku, like everything. Literally, it happened so fast. I started this. Mind you, the idea had always been brewing, right? But when I actually started putting forth effort, that was in June. So from June to now, November, this is what I've created. So the website is up. I have about I think I have like 7 or 8 talk shows. I have 9 movies. I have 2 documentaries.
Wow.
And it's just going to keep growing. And this is from legwork. This is from me literally reaching out to content creators. Like, this is my idea. This is what I see this is the vision I have for my network. This is the mission. And those who felt like their content aligned with that, they were ready to hop aboard, I haven't gotten all yeses, of course. I got I got some no's or some ghost me, but which is a part of the business. It's
Yeah.
absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And but those who I didn't have to like necessarily sell them, because I don't believe in necessarily selling something. If you believe in what you have, your product or your service,
Mm-hmm.
just by talking about it, people are going to be like, yo, that's dope, I want
Mm-hmm.
in. So
Right.
that's what I did, and I'm very passionate about what I'm creating. And I reached out to people who I felt aligned with what it is that I'm trying to give to the community, and
Mm-hmm.
more times than not, they were ready to work with me.
That is quite incredible. Lot to unpack there. I want to start off and say I may have mentioned this to you on the phone the other day, but just the idea about this unprecedented, crazy time that we're in, and
Hmm.
how, depending on a lot of circumstances, your family life, if
Hmm.
you're, are or are not employed during the time, and a whole bunch of
Hmm.
other factors. If anyone falls ill, God forbid,
Hmm.
during this time, there's so
Hmm.
many things that could affect the way that you're able to kind of handle whatever you need to handle during this difficult challenge. But
Hmm.
in the sense of, like you said, sort of taking this opportunity here to really, really just say, oh, this is the time to do it.
Hmm.
This is the time
And
to
that's the
do it.
thing, but that's the thing with starting businesses, or just starting any type of endeavor. There is never the time, right?
Hmm.
Like you have to like take it, right?
Hmm.
There is
Hmm.
no perfect time to start anything. I don't care, like, because if you have the money, then it's like, oh, I don't have the resources. If you have the resources, I don't have the money. You have the resources and the money, I don't have the time. So it's just like you have to create the opportunity. You
Right.
have to create the opportunity. And so that's literally all that I did. I took with what I had, and I created an opportunity out of it.
So I love that. That's,
Hmm.
yeah, very well said. And one question that just came up actually, as you were mentioning, networking with and reaching out to different content creators, I'm
Hmm.
very interested in hearing about what that process looks like from your end. Is it a matter of using, obviously, I'm sure social media is a big part of it, but is it
Hmm.
social media? Is it just kind of searching hashtags, seeing what people are doing, reaching out, and
Hmm.
just kind of just starting those conversations that way organically?
Well, I already had many connections because, like I said, I worked in the media industry for 7 to 8 years. So I already knew film producers, I already knew actors, I already knew executive producers and digital editors.
Hmm.
So I definitely worked on connections that I already had, reconnected, and then a lot of it was primarily social media,
Wow.
searching content, and because I already had connections too, like one door opens to another door, opens to another
Right.
door, opens to another
Right.
door. It literally, that's how you and I connected.
Yeah. Sure.
I,
Right.
how did we connect again? I want it because it's so funny.
Yeah.
I know I definitely seen you interview DeRay, but I
Yeah.
felt like I'd seen you at somewhere else on social media. But it's fascinating how at your fingertips you have all these opportunities and these resources. It's literally about utilizing them. But
It
so
is.
to answer your question, social media is my primary source of finding content creators, and then just using the people that I already had build bridges with
Hmm.
from many years ago when I used to work in like radio. I was a media correspondent. I was a digital editor. Like I've done a lot. Like so just those connections that I had, I kind of, hey.
Hmm. Remember me?
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that. Wait, so tell me, and then I have a follow question to that, but
Hmm.
about your 7 years as a, in media, working in media, can you tell me a little bit about what what the roles that you had were, high level,
Hmm.
doesn't have to be in depth, but high level,
Hmm.
what the roles were and kind of what your responsibilities, like what did that look like for you?
So things that I've done in the media, I was a radio personality for Woo World Radio. Excuse me. Shouts out to Wu Tang. They were powered by the Wu Tang Clan, and I was. It originally started as three of us, and we used to refer to ourselves as the Wu Angels. So that was with myself, DJ Sienna Chanel. She's very popular in like Newark, New Jersey. She's a dope woman. And then also LaTasia Williams. She called herself Tasia Star at the time, but she relocated to LA about 3 or 4 years ago. So she's doing her thing over there.
Nice.
We had our own show. It was called The Gravel Pit, which is actually a song by Wu-Tang. So that was like our opening intro and everything. And so we did that for a while. I believe I think I was with Wu-Tang with Wu War Radio for about a year, I think. Sienna ended up leaving, and then it was just Tasia, Star, and myself. And so that was one of my higher end like radio personality gigs. I also was a radio personality on independent radio station for Essex County. So it covered all 29 cities in the Essex County area. It was called Caribbean Zone. And I can't remember the station. It was so long ago. It was like right out of college. Okay. But so that was my radio background. I also was on a radio station. I had my own radio show in college as well. Okay. So after that, what else did I do? I worked with What's Hot in Hip Hop. I was with them for many, many, many years. There, I was the chief content officer and also a digital editor. So my ideal primary tasks were I went out to these high-end events, big celebrity events, and I interviewed the celebrities at the event, whether it was a red carpet award show, whether it was like an album release party, just any type of social gathering. So I was the girl that was on the red carpet and I was interviewing them. And then I was also in charge of actually editing the footage. So I was the digital editor for that as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's like a lot of stuff. So I've interviewed people like Morris Chestnut, Fat Joe, rest in peace to Fred the Godson, Mario. Yeah. So it was really fun. It was a lot of fun. So I ended up after about, I believe in 2015, I left the media cold turkey. I left kind of abruptly because I just, in the industry, the media industry, or just in the entertainment industry as a whole, it's very easy to get caught up in like the facade, right? It is what it is. Everyone in the entertainment industry, they kind of like have a reputation that they want to uphold, right? They want to look a certain way. And I felt myself kind of falling into that. And it wasn't authentic to who I was as a person, right? I just, for personal, spiritual reasons, I was like, this is not what I want for myself. Like, I didn't want to be like the Wendy Williams. Like we already had a Wendy Williams. I didn't want to be like an Oprah. So I just kind of felt myself falling into like a box, and I didn't want that. So I kind of just left cold turkey. I went back in 2017. I went back to What's Hot in Hip Hop. And I loved working for them. They were amazing. Got to meet great people within the industry. I helped brush up on my editing skills. Then I ended up leaving again. And then right when I left that time, about a year or so after, was when I came up with the idea of starting my own company, because I felt like there was something missing within the television and just the entertainment industry as a whole. And that's why I like birthed Kemistry TV, because I wanted to really give something kind of like what I like to refer as conscious television. So that's what it is. It's all about.
Wow, what a story! That's really cool. There's things that jump out at me there. It's like all of those experiences that you had working in the industry. There's like so much that you learned from high level stuff that you may not realize directly that they're gonna be an asset for you once you start your company, as you've started already. And then the specific things, like you mentioned a couple times, like video editing, or you use the word digital editing, which to me, I'm very interested in that. I'm doing digital editing every week, every day, pretty much for my channel and stuff. So like what programs would you use? Did you use like the Premiere Pros of the world, or what kind of stuff?
I was using Final Cut Pro. At the time, so I graduated college back in 2012, and that was like the it factor for digital editing, for video editing. It was Final Cut Pro. So that's what I was taught in college, and also in my internships, that's what they use. So I primarily use Final Cut Pro. I know a lot of people are using like what the Adobe
is it called Premiere?
Premiere. And so I don't have much knowledge on working on those applications. So mine was primarily Final Cut Pro. I haven't edited in about 2 years, to be honest. So it's been a while. I do enjoy it, and I plan on getting back into it, but it has been a while.
Yeah, I'm noticing, like, with the editing thing, one of the big things for me on my content now is trying to figure out, what is the right amount of content. If I have this much footage of an interview, take this interview for example. If I have
Mm-hmm.
this much of it, like how long is the right amount in order for it to keep everyone's attention, and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Like I'm kind
Mm-hmm.
of, I've gone from one way, like when I did an episode with my wife, it was one of my first very different episodes of my show, where it was just like a short 3-minute kind of trailer
Mm-hmm.
vlog, a rapid vlog of our anniversary celebration.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, from that time, I was like, I want this to be really short. I just want it to be like the highlights of what we did, like celebrating your anniversary quarantine style is what I
Mm-hmm.
called it. And it was like, it was really fun to kind of challenge myself to say, no matter what, like I had maybe like 10 plus hours of footage, like a whole lot of content that I kind of trimmed down into just the highlights.
Wow, 10
And so,
hours.
yeah, from the whole weekend, I was just recording everything, and it
Mm-hmm.
was a fun challenge versus a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the conversations, as I'm learning at least, is like the converse. This is more of a podcast type of a thing, where people that are going to
Mm-hmm.
listen to it they're going to be engaged. They're going to want to listen to it in its entirety. So
Mm-hmm.
it takes so much time to go through it and cut and chop and do all those things. So I've been thinking about just what is how to be really, really efficient with the editing process. And it's a
Yes.
learning
Because you
process,
want the entire thing to be compelling, right? You want people to watch it. You don't want them to watch like a minute, 30 seconds, and then
That's
they
right.
turn from it. So you want to be able to just pick highlights and really pick the highlights of the entire footage and then condense it, right?
That's right.
Even and what I personally like, I try to stay away from too many like flash and things like that. Like I try and I kept it consistent. So those are like little tricks. And then the things that what I edited it was called the hot spot. That was the show that I did when I was with What's Hot in Hip Hop. So when I did the interviews, it was actually called like a little series show, and that I would put them together. So every episode had the same intro and outro, and then within in between that, of course, it was little tweaks here and there. But primarily, it was once you have like the structure and the format of what you want it to look like, it's easier to edit it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, knowing the function of the application, of course.
Right. Ah, very
Yeah.
well said. We talked a little bit about your talk show. What's the name of the talk show?
Well, my talk show was called Alchemy of Thought. So,
Okay.
like I said, I have about 7 or 8 talk shows. I have Meetings on the Mat, which is a phenomenal show created by this beautiful woman named Nikki. She's on Instagram as Nick Be Free. I have another show called uh, the the Next Up with Tabitha. I have the Real Talk, Real Talk Sessions, which is a phenomenal show as well. But my show is called Alchemy of Thought, and that name actually came from the practice of mental alchemy. I'm not sure. Are you familiar with mental alchemy?
You shared it with me. I would love for you to
Hmm.
share it with the audience because it's very interesting.
Okay. Yes. So, like alchemy, right? Alchemy is if you changing metal to gold or silver, right? Something valuable. So it's
Mhm.
literally the same thing, but on a spiritual and mental plane. So you're basically taking like your negative thought process or trauma or any type of like dysfunction, and you're changing it into a pleasurable experience, so you can get out of life the things that your heart desires. And saying that, it sounds easy, right? But it's
Mhm.
really like reprogramming of the mind, because we are so deeply embedded to our conditioning and our programming, our upbringing from societal standards, from our parents, just generational trauma or things that we have within our own family and on a grand scheme, right, within
Yeah.
like the Black community. um, so it's really just changing, being an alchemist of your thoughts and your mindset and your mentality, your demeanor, your like your disposition even, right? It's just changing things. And when you really think about it, it's literally learning, unlearning, and then relearning, which is an entire process. So it's a
Mhm.
beautiful, beautiful practice, and that's basically where the title came from, Alchemy
I
of
love
Thought.
that. I hadn't heard of it
Hmm.
before you
Hmm.
mentioning it to me,
Hmm.
during our previous conversation. Yeah, I think that's extremely powerful.
You are in control. That's the beautiful part about it. Your perception and how you perceive things literally creates your reality.
Mhm.
So like, if it's the same thing with how everyone is talking about manifestation, it kind of goes hand in hand with that. Like, of course, doing the work, believing, thinking it, living it as if you already have it, and these things will come to you.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
the few other talk shows that you mentioned, so these other individuals who have the content already, were they making the content and waiting for like the network that they want to partner with, or was it something that like we talked about before, YouTube channel like myself, and now they're, in addition to being wherever it's currently at, it's going to be with your network as well?
And in addition, so I'm just an extension of wherever they broadcast their content already. I was really, really, to me, it was very important to seek out content creators that already had their content either completed or soon to be completed.
Gotcha.
You know, because as I said, I'm a broadcasting company. I'm not a production company. So there was a lot of misconception there when I used to talk to content creators, or people used to, find out about me through word of mouth, and they'd be like, "Oh, I have this great show idea," and they thought that I would actually produce it. But I do plan to extend Kemistry into a production company. But right now we're just a broadcasting company. So people, if you have your content on YouTube or with Amazon Prime or someone else's network, you can also have it on mine as well. I'm just an extension. It's really a win-win, to be honest.
That's
And
what it
also
sounds
content creators can also generate revenue as well on my platform.
Right. Now, why Roku and not Amazon or YouTube or Netflix or anything like that?
Well, YouTube, I didn't do YouTube because I feel personally from just research for YouTube, I think you're better off if you already have a following. YouTube is a wonderful platform, but it's great for people who already have a following because you kind of like have to know what it is you're looking for when you go on YouTube.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime, for the content that I want to deliver, I felt like it was kind of oversaturated. I really felt like my network would just get lost in the sea of all the content that's on Prime. Like they have like literally 4 times as much content as Netflix. And I chose Roku because it's the number one in-home streaming app. A lot of people think that it's the Fire Stick, but it's not. It's Roku because Roku is integrated on so many televisions already. So 9 times out of 10, you have Roku on your smart TV and you probably don't even know it. So I'm easily accessible, right? Of course, coming with marketing and promotion and things like that. But the fact that I'm already in the homes is why I picked Roku. Also, I liked Roku because you don't necessarily have to know the name of my network in order to find me. You can, let's say if I wanted to just categorize myself as Black entertainment, right? You're browsing one day, well, hey, what's in the Black entertainment? Oh, Kemistry TV, what's this? Oh, Alchemy of Thought, what's this? Or the Real Talk Session series, what's this? Or, anything that you may see that's on the network. And now with just by mistake, people are stumbling across your content. And that's by mistake, and then so just imagine those numbers. So that's the theory and the logic that I went with. Of course, we'll see once January 3rd gets here.
Right. I'm rooting for you, and I'm excited. I'm very excited for it because you went through quite a few of the different guests, and it just sounds extremely compelling. Especially I think the season finale. I think you told me the last episode. I don't want to spoil nothing. I'm
No,
can go.
It's okay. There have been some changes since you and I had that last
Okay.
conversation. So, which is okay. Things happen.
Yeah.
So there are some people that wasn't able to make it onto season 1, but they will be on season 2. But I already have a full season, though. I have a full season. You can. So some of the I'm not going to like give away too much, but if you were to tune into this show, some of the things that you can expect to see, I sit down with a meditation practitioner, a Reiki practitioner. I sit down with yoga instructors, and we talk about the importance of just practicing yoga and meditation and just self-reflecting, doing like inner healing and inner work. I sit down with the doula. She explains the importance of having a doula, specifically within the Black community. I learned that they're doulas for everything. And I learned this during the show. There's a sex doula, there's an abortion doula, there's LGBTQ doulas for a doula for the LGBTQ community. There's so many different types, and I thought that was beautiful. I also sit down with a polyamorous couple, and we talk about polygamy versus monogamy within the society and the misconceptions of it, and also the purpose of polygamy, and getting people to understand, like, it's not just what people think it is, which is primarily sex or male driven. I talk about so much. I talk about powerful women who are sexually liberated, and they talk about their sexual experience and sexual health. So these are just some of the conversations that are considered taboo in society that people are kind of like, or they are interested in, but they don't want to raise their hand and say, I'm interested in that. I want to learn about polygamy, or I want to learn about how to be a woman and own my sexuality. So these are conversations that I have on my particular show.
I'll definitely be tuning in. That's all very interesting stuff, for sure. It's definitely
I think it's important. I definitely think it's important, and I think it's educational, and you don't have to agree with everything, and that's the point. It's very objective. Like, I didn't agree with everything that I heard on my show as well, but that's not the purpose of it. The purpose is to inform, right? And that's and then you take what you can apply to yourself, and then that's it.
That's right. So let's go really quick into a time machine. Like, let's go 8 years or 5 years into the future. And let's both, I mean, I was going to ask you, but let's both talk about where we are with our respective goals that we're kind of working towards. And of course, as the saying goes, ladies first.
Okay. Well, where I see Kemistry Television, so I see myself being completely independent and solely working with Kemistry TV, meaning that I am my own entity. So aside, me not having to depend on like an outside source such as Roku, although they are amazing, but I want to be able to have stand on my own two legs. So the ultimate goal, long-term goal, is for Kemistry TV to have its own app and to also be its own broadcasting streaming network. On internet television, because cable is kind of becoming obsolete, we all know. So like how you have the HBO stream, you have like ABC, NBC. I believe one of them have like the new streaming service called Peacock that they're introducing. So that will be Kemistry. So we are going to be our own entity. And when you think of Kemistry, you're going to think about, oh, that's that dope television network where if I want to learn something, and I also want to be entertained, and I want to get some information on a specific topic, I know where to go to.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. It's important to be able to know what that goal is. What is that plan, moving forward. I've heard it countless times. I've heard, like, without the goal, without the plan, I shouldn't say plan, without the goal, the plan is kind of what helps you get to the goal. Yeah. So without an idea of where you want to get to, it's just so much less likely that you'll get there, because you don't know where you're going. Heading.
Yeah, you kind of have to see the vision, and honestly, and I'll go out on a limb to say that the vision is a little bit more important than the plan, because if you see where it is where you want to be, right, like, and just focus on every day doing something to get there, you don't necessarily have to have like this long drawn out plan for like the entire 5 years, right? I mean, most people don't, but if you see the vision, that main goal that you want to get to, that's where you're going to go. You're going to do things to work up there. So I would say, more importantly, focus on the goal more so than like the plan, like the middle piece. Like, I feel like that's going to come, because every day you're going to do something to work on that. That is your plan. That's your plan. I'm not saying don't create like little milestones, of course, but envision that end goal. Like, where do you see, like, and that doesn't mean even stop there, but where do you see, like, what is the ultimate goal? When will you feel like you have accomplished what you set out to do? And then envision that, believe it, and see yourself being there. And then you're gonna work to get there.
Right. Definitely. I love that. Yeah. And it's interesting too. So like with me and the music and tutoring, those are like my two main pillars right now. I'm doing a lot of math tutoring, and then I'm doing a lot of content with my music. And now,
you do math tutoring? I got to keep you around for my daughter.
For sure. Yeah, I'm a dope math tutor for sure. It's one of my many passions that I
Oh,
love.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna
That's
stay
my thing.
connected.
Yeah, for sure. In a few years, you know what I'm saying? Give me a call. Well, I'm sure we will. I'm sure we will stay connected regardless of the
Yes.
tutoring thing. But definitely, I'll be more than happy, and give you
Okay.
like a family and friends discount. We'll make that
Oh,
happen.
cool. Okay,
Um, but
okay.
yeah, so the music is huge for me. So just one of my goals when people would ask me is like I'm steadfast in wanting to place my music in on a platform, in a video game or as a commercial or in a TV show, cartoon, and that's still
Hmm.
definitely there. But what I'm noticing in addition to that is my my passion is now also becoming content creation, making something I would say heavily revolved around the music, but having a visual with it that is either compelling, whether it's like an artistic kind of thing,
Hmm.
or doing things like this, interviewing guests, learning, providing this like platform for my guests and then for my audience to be able to listen to. And like you
Hmm.
mentioned earlier, be inspired, be entertained, all of these
Hmm.
different things that I know are the things that are important for me when I'm tuning
Hmm.
into something, which is why I will
Hmm.
be tuning into Chemistry TV Network. Um,
Yay.
that's it. That's it. And so yeah, so what I'm realizing is that I really, really want to learn. I don't have the background that you have in the from the media perspective. I kind of had to learn about editing and things like that. But even on top of that, it's a fun and interesting process of educating myself on this side of things that I've never ever really knew anything about. It's
Hmm.
challenging, but it's super, super inspiring. And I'm like
Hmm.
loving the journey so far.
Yes, as you should. And content creation is beautiful because it's art, right? No matter, it's still art. And it's you expressing yourself. Whatever's in here
Yeah.
and in here, you're putting it out there. So
Yeah.
that's why I love about it. An artsy person.
Yeah.
I also have a background. I'm a dancer as well. I've trained professionally. I've done ballet, jazz, tap, modern, like everything.
Oh,
So
wow.
so I've done that, and I've been dancing since I was about like technically trained since 12.
Hmm.
But just dancing. My mom said I started dancing when I was 6 months old. So like the arts, it runs through my veins. So and I
Yeah,
love it. Yeah, yeah.
that's so cool. It's like the biggest thing that I love talking to people about is how important it is to do something that you're passionate about, and whether
Yes.
that thing is an extension of your career, whether it's something you're doing on the side, you're working professionally, maybe you're not as passionate about that, but you have this other thing that you're doing that brings that fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think if you're ambitious enough, which I think sometimes ambitious and some connotations, for some reason it has like a it shouldn't have ever have a negative kind of negative perspective, but like
See,
it might make you feel like
yeah.
you're like, I don't know, cocky, or like you're thinking you're too big for this, so you want to get this kind of thing, you
Yeah,
know?
I've had that issue within like my corporate jobs.
Okay.
I've been told that because I whenever I was working in the corporate industry, I was also doing my media stuff on the side. I was always doing everything simultaneously. So I got that a lot, that I had this aura about me as if like I didn't need my job. But I'm like, that I never said that. Did I ever
Mhm.
say that? I'm like,
Right.
that's just my ambition, because I know that I'm going to create something beautiful, and I know that I know my potential, and I'm going to reach my potential because I am ambitious and I am dedicated to my craft. And I
Yeah.
think that's what it is that people confuse it with. And another thing about the negative connotation with being ambitious, people take you as an opportunist as well, because you're so ambitious. You're kind of like take any opportunity to get ahead.
Oh,
Um,
got you.
you know what I mean?
Sure,
So,
sure.
which is not always the truth too. It could be depending on the character of the person. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you have to have integrity. I have
Yeah.
integrity, so that will not be the case. But I think that's also another thing that people confuse with a highly ambitious person
That's a great
being an
point.
opportunist. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think even to that, like I've noticed like on your stories, oftentimes very relatable sort of quotes or content or things about,
Hmm.
um, there's certain things that can happen on your journey when you do have this passion,
Hmm.
that can kind of not derail it, but can kind of be a distraction. whether that's
Yeah.
someone not believing in you, or it was an article that I read today. I'm going to send it to you later, but it said it was something about the 5 things that every visionary, I think they use. So that's even like a little bit beyond ambitious. That's like someone that's seeing kind of what we're talking about, someone that's seeing what the, what the future is going to be like for you, which I think is a powerful sentiment for sure. And it talked about, 5 different things. For the first 4, I'm reading through them. It had a little bit to do with, realizing that some people aren't going to be encouraging or with you on the journey, or kind of like that type of
Absolutely.
thing.
Yeah.
There were 4, there were a
Absolutely.
few others, but the last one was the one that I was like, oh, okay, cool. Check. Like, the first 4 I was good with. The last one said something like read a lot every day. And I don't read at all. And that is I need to get better at
Well,
that for
they have
sure.
audiobooks. You don't necessarily have to
Yeah,
read it. You can
that is
listen.
true. Yeah. And even, we have technology to allow to
Yeah,
still
you have
get
to
that knowledge. And
utilize our resources.
that's right.
I to be honest with you, I don't like read a lot of physical like books. I do read a lot of articles and blogs, and I
Yeah.
research a lot.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I do a lot of reading.
Yeah.
But I need to get back into just like actually taking out books, going to Barnes and Noble and purchasing books and
Uh-huh.
creating a collection, because I think that helps, because it helps you have a reference point. You can easily go back
Yeah.
to those resources. If I read a blog, after I read the blog, I don't really remember,
Yeah.
if I want to reference it. But yeah, so in that sense, reading is very fundamental. That's one of my like life quotes.
Yeah.
You ever not read or read a direction or something, and then because you jump ahead, because you kind of like your brain is so hyper, right? You just go jump ahead, and then you got to backtrack, because had you read the directions, you would have known what to do and what not to do. That happens to me all the time, and then
Yeah.
it always reminds me that reading is fundamental. Like, take the extra 10 seconds to
Yeah.
read what it says, so you can alleviate jumping ahead and then having to backtrack. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Tisha,
yeah.
you
Hmm.
you bring up a really good point. We got an exercise bike for down here, and the
Hmm.
same one that my older brother has in his house. And I was like, Dwayne, I was like, did you put this together? He's like, no, I don't have time to put things together. So he like paid $80 or whatever to have it assembled.
Hmm.
I'm a
Hmm.
little bit more. I kind of enjoy putting things and figuring things out. My
Okay.
engineering background.
Hmm.
So I ordered it, came in, and I'm putting everything together, and everything was solid. It was all good. And then I did exactly what you just said not to do, which is I like thought I knew everything, so I put this away.
Uh-huh.
Essentially, there were 2 things you had to screw in that the pedals get connected to. On one
Hmm.
side, it's the regular rotation that we're all used to tighten up. The other
Hmm.
side, I was trying to screw it in the same way, the same rotation, and it just was
Hmm.
not going in at all. And then
Yeah.
after like an hour, when I looked
An
back, it was like,
hour? You let an hour go by?
yeah. Well, it wasn't an hour. It was like 58 minutes. It was like 59, 50 minutes. It was, something like that. But I was like, man, I was like, what is going on here? And then in like bold, it was like bold letters. It was like, be aware, the left side is different than the right side. The left side, you
Had
have
you
to
read
screw
the
it in counterclockwise.
directions?
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yes,
So it
that's why
happened.
reading is very fundamental. Reading will save your life, literally.
Yeah,
Reading will save your life. You gotta follow directions. It's there. It's maybe fine print, but it's there.
that's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right, so I got 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
All right. So the first question is, and by the way, first of all, just super dope conversation so far. I'm excited to listen to this, to share it with other people, for you to share it with
Hmm.
whoever you think can be inspired. But then also, I'm excited for like to listen to this or watch it years from now.
That's
I think it'll be
that.
very
That's a.
interesting.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I think we're sitting here talking about, like, you asked me the question about the 5-year goal, and then 5-6 years from now, we're gonna look back, and we're gonna chuckle, we're gonna laugh, because we're already visionary sitting here right now, and it's going to feel, I can't even describe how that's going to feel. It's going to be so beautiful, and we're going to feel empowered, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we seen our opportunity, we took our opportunity, we seized the moment. And I think
Mm-hmm.
when we see the fruits of our label, of our hard work, of our labor years from now, we're going to we're gonna feel really empowered.
So the question that I have for you, my friend,
Hmm.
is if you have a chance to put up a billboard and you can have anything you want on this billboard, what would you like to have put on this billboard?
Very interesting question.
Hmm. Thank you.
If I had a chance to to have a billboard or put anything I want on a billboard, the first thing that comes to mind is a child sitting in front of a television. The television is blank though. Like you can't see what's, like, the television is like blurred out. You can't see what's on the television. Um, but the um the meaning of it is like we're very mindful and cautious of what our children watch on television, right? Because let's be real, there's so much trash on television. We got all these reality shows that's
Hmm.
filled with toxic behavior and um just drama filled. So I first thing that comes to mind is just a child sitting in front of a television and you can't see what it is, but um the child is being impacted by whatever it is that they're seeing, right?
Hmm.
And I would have like the Chemistry TV logo and maybe like a slogan. I have no idea what the slogan would say. I don't know, maybe something like, I don't know, conscious TV or something, or enlightening TV, or something that you would want your child to watch. And
Hmm.
yeah, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, let people know that, like, this is television that's good for the heart, good for the mind, good for the body, good for the soul. Oh,
Hmm.
I guess that would be the slogan. I
Hey,
guess.
book it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a
So
powerful
yeah.
image too. A lot of the
Mhm.
time, actually all the time that I've asked that question,
Mhm.
I've gotten a range of, different thoughtful responses, but never actually no, that's not true. One other time I was going to say, but rarely do I have
Mhm.
someone that says that has an image as being sort of the main thing on there.
Mm.
Which is
Mm.
powerful because when you think about it, someone driving down a highway, and obviously if you have some words, not too many words, we have some words on
Mm.
there
Mhm.
that resonate, that's
Mhm.
obviously hugely powerful. But
Mhm.
more than that, maybe you could say that seeing an image with even less words on there, that's something that might have more of a lasting impression.
Yeah, the like pictures and images, we tend to because when you see an image, I automatically identify to it through your experience, right? Through your
Uh-huh.
perspective.
Yeah.
So 9 times out of 10, when you see a child in something, you think of like development or growth or learning or something, right? Because it's a child.
Yeah.
That's all children do. They learn. They're a sponge.
Yeah.
So that's just what I thought of. Like it just to help get my message across. Like it's television that's good for you. That's something that you would want to like. Not everything though. There is some adult stuff on my network, but
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
but it's television that is just good for you
Hmm.
as a person. Yeah,
Hmm. And I
that
love
you can
what you said
apply to your
earlier.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, about the entertaining and you didn't use the word educational, entertaining and something
No.
else.
Yeah. Enlightening. I think I
Enlightening.
used.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
I said it's television that's good for the mind, body, and soul.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. Next question for
Okay.
you is a music question. So you have a chance to go to a dream concert of yours with 5 artists that are going to perform, and these artists
Mm.
can be living or dead. And I want to
Mm.
know, which concert are you going to go to? And I'll probably be attending to, if the artists are up to my, like, standard of who I want to see.
Wait, so are you gonna give me the artist, or I can just pick any
Oh,
artist?
I want you to tell me. So it's basically like, who are your 5
Okay.
favorite artists kind of question.
Okay. Okay. That I would go to. They were in a lineup. Hmm. It's so crazy because I feel like a lot of artists a lot of people are not gonna know these artists, but not to say that they're not good artists, but they're not like commercialized, like
Mhm.
highly mainstream. But I love Daly. He's a dope artist.
Okay. What
I
kind of music?
like soul R&B type of style.
Nice.
His name is Daly. Uh, I definitely would see Prince. Definitely would see Prince. I would definitely see Michael Jackson.
Nice.
Um, I would definitely see. Uh, I want to see Anita Baker. I love
Oh,
Anita Baker.
wow. Yeah,
I love Anita Baker. Oh, I love Anita
legend.
Baker. Definitely be Anita Baker. That's four, right? I think
That's
I gave you
four.
four.
Uh-huh.
Um, mm, so I said Daily. I said Prince. I said Michael Jackson. I said Anita Baker. Come on, it's this fifth one gotta be. Let's see. Who would I see that would make this the ultimate concert to rival all concerts?
That's right. That's what we're going for here.
um, uh, I feel like I gotta have a rap artist because I gotta
Okay.
balance it out. You
Now you're
know.
talking my language. I wonder who
Um,
you're gonna pick. I'm very curious.
it would be J. Cole.
How did I not know you were going to say it, but I was hoping you were going to say it because I was just like, he is so dope.
Yes,
I was
so
just,
dope.
oh man, I was just thinking of, so first of all,
Hmm.
awesome list, awesome. I'll definitely be there too. I'll pay any amount of money to go see those five artists.
Yeah, we would have a good
I would
time.
absolutely be there.
Those are great artists.
There you go.
Hmm.
I was yeah, someone else, another female who's on the one of my wife's closest friends actually, who was
Hmm.
on episode earlier or earlier in the year,
Hmm.
not in the year, couple weeks ago. But she had J. Cole for one of her artists too,
Okay. Hmm.
and he's definitely one of my he's not my top five hip hop artists, but I've realized that he is I'm pretty sure he's in my top 10 for sure, which is a pretty powerful statement.
Mm.
I'm huge into hip hop and stuff, but I was just
Mm.
listening
Okay.
to did you listen to his song called Snow on the Bluff by
Yes,
chance?
I did. I did hear it. Yes,
Hey,
I didn't listen to it. I mean, I probably heard it about twice, about two
right when
times.
it first
Yeah.
came out, the one
Yeah.
where
Hmm.
he's kind of talking about, I forget what artist it was, but
Yeah.
the female,
Oh.
was it not Rhapsody, or was it was one of the female artists that
It
he
was a
was,
female artist, and basically she took offense to something that he said or something
yeah,
allegedly, but it
yeah,
wasn't even for her
yeah,
or something
directed
like that.
directly at
It wasn't
her, yeah.
directed. Yeah, but
It
and
was,
he kind of was like, I ain't even know type of thing. Like I don't
uh-huh.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, powerful song. I
Yeah.
listened to
Hmm.
that on so many levels. Like he's a producer as well, so like a song like that, to talk about the music aspect of it with no drums
Hmm.
in it whatsoever, just straight atmospheric sounds with him rapping over it, and talking about something so real like that. I listen every time that song comes on. I'm just like, whoa, this is. And
Hmm.
he has a lot. He has a
Yeah.
lot of music like that. So I would
Yes,
love
he
to see
does.
him.
He does. I like what I like about J. Cole, and this is actually also something that I admire about Fabulous as well. I feel like them two in particular, I like them because they tell stories
Mhm.
in their songs. Like
Okay.
Fabulous is really good for that as well. Like they tell like it's like a story. Like it's
Hmm.
not like just like sporadic rhyme lyrics. Like
Hmm.
they're actually telling it's like a sequence
Hmm.
of a story, and I like
Hmm.
that about him. Yeah.
And that is powerful. Even like on in J.
Yeah.
Cole's perspective on his For Your Eyes Only album, that
Hmm.
album, if you look up the story that he's telling on there, I won't even say it now because I won't do it any justice. But he's
Hmm.
actually telling a story on the entire album is like one cohesive story. And
Mm,
he's actually the one thing that's like a major takeaway about it is you're listening to this whole entire thing, you're thinking he's like rapping about himself, but the whole story is a true story about his friend and all these incidents that happen. It's really, really, matter of fact, I'm
that's
probably going to
dope.
listen to it tomorrow in its entirety
Yeah,
because it's been a
yeah.
while since I listened to that one.
Okay, I should do that too. I should do that too. I've never done that with that
Yeah,
album. Yeah, so maybe I'll do that as well. Okay.
we'll share notes.
Yes, yes, yes.
But man, this I'm just super excited. I mean, I can talk to you for another couple hours, but I do want to respect your time and know that if the invitation is, this could definitely be an ongoing thing as your
Mhm.
network kind of launches, and we can kind of
Mhm.
touch base again next year. Maybe sometime around after the network is launched. So by that point, I'll have
Absolutely.
it out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. We can talk about it because I would love to give updates and how things are going.
right.
And I'm very transparent. I'll be an open book as a business owner, as a the CEO of a broadcasting network. I've developed thick skin. I've developed and not I don't want to say I've become intrusive, but definitely assertive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which you have to be in this industry, and be very clear and precise on what it is that I want, because I don't want my mission to be misconstrued at all. And because I'm giving it out to the public, and the biggest marketing method is word of mouth. It's not commercials, it's not ads, it's
Mm-hmm.
word of mouth. And your mission can get misconstrued through people, and that's what I don't want to happen. So that's
Mm-hmm.
something that I just I hold my mission for my baby. It's my baby, dear to my
Yeah.
heart. So, but yeah, I'll be happy to come back and give updates and be transparent about what's going on within the company and the business and my content. And yeah, I'm really excited. I think the more authentic and transparent I am, the more people will be willing to tune in and to also work with me. I'm here to broadcast amazing, dope content. That is
Mm-hmm.
my goal,
That's your mission.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that would be so dope. Yeah, to continue the
Hmm.
conversation. And one
Hmm.
thing that I can say about you too that I really love is during our first conversation on the phone, we neither one of us really knew each other, but you
Mm-mm.
provided
Hmm.
so you were like so forthcoming with taking the time out to provide so much valuable information
Thank you.
to me.
I'm glad I was able to. I'm glad that
Yeah.
you took something. I took something away from you. You put me onto a few things as well.
Hmm.
You schooled me on that I didn't know
Yeah,
much about. So it was definitely a takeaway for the both of us. I
that's
appreciated
good.
that conversation.
Yeah.
And you mentioned
Right.
something earlier about like the content that I put out on my social media, like my Instagram
Yep.
pages. And I think what you were probably referring to is my statement that I put about being a visionary, right?
Hmm.
And so one of the things that I think is very important, us as visionaries, or just anyone as a content creator, is not trying to persuade people to see your vision. And I think that's very important. I'm only interested in dealing with people that already see the vision, because I don't have time to persuade you. I don't have time to convince you. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I need
Yeah.
people that are already like, yo, I see it, I understand it, I'm with it, I love the mission, I love the goal. What's the process? Like,
Yeah.
I want people to ask those questions. What's the process? What does that look like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But people that you got to convince, and they're like, or doubtful. How are you going to do that? Or I'm
Yeah.
not interested in dealing with those people. Those people will hinder you, and
Yeah.
it's the truth. You
It
have to deal
is.
with people, and those people will be your family. They will be your loved ones. They may be your significant other. They may be your children.
Hmm.
Um, and you just know that when it comes to this stuff over here,
Hmm.
they can't be like, especially if you want to be successful, and success by your definition of success, not societal standards, right? That
Hmm.
doesn't
Hmm.
necessarily mean that you have to be like a billionaire or something.
Hmm.
It's to your standards. But you have to deal with people that see your vision. They have to already see it and believe it.
Right. That's very well said. Yeah, being able
Yeah.
to just keep it away from them, because yeah, that stuff can bring you down. And
Yeah,
it's
it
it,
will. We're still human.
of course, of course.
Hmm.
That's exactly right. That is, yeah, that's very well said. There was something I saw earlier. It said something along the lines of not to take, kind of in the same vein, not to take criticism from anyone that you would not take advice from. And actually, right before we started
Mm,
this lesson, I'll give my man
that's
a
well
shout out. Adam
said.
Ivy is a guy I follow on YouTube. He has a lot of dope content on brand building and stuff like that. And I just
Hmm.
happened to see on his story he had that up, and
Hmm.
that spoke to me as well. That was pretty interesting, because sometimes I'm challenged with how to receive someone's constructive criticism.
Hmm.
Where is it coming from? A place? Is it coming from a place of love? Because
Hmm.
at first I remember thinking like I love getting constructive criticism, because I think that's how I can kind of grow and become better. But
Hmm.
all criticism that comes your way is not coming from a place of the person telling it to you to see you do better. And
Yeah, for it's not in your best interest.
that's right.
And you know what? That's the dangerous part, because you can't see
Right.
where that place is coming from, right? You can't see you're not. I mean, yeah, we have this thing called energy, right? Where you feel a person's energy, you
Yeah.
kind of feel if things are off, or if they have malice intent. But sometimes you can't. So that's why it's very, very important to be grounded within your purpose,
Hmm.
like be grounded within your purpose, and be and have intent, move with intention,
Hmm.
and and just kind of like take what's the saying, um take the meat and spit out the bones or something like that, right? If it
Maybe.
doesn't apply to you,
Yeah.
don't let it
Yeah.
stick
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
something.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
something
exactly.
like that. Yeah. So yeah.
That's definitely
It,
good. And even like you mentioned earlier about your character, and I can see just from knowing you for this short amount of time and knowing me for a little bit longer than I've known you, I can see that, like, having your character be something that your whole business and brand is grounded on is critical.
yes.
I was just
Yes.
thinking about and reading about during my once a year reading periods, which don't happen often. I
That's
was
so
just,
funny. My once a year reading period.
once a year. It was like it was something about yeah, how important it is for your audience. You said it multiple times when I was talking about having you back on, but how important it is for your audience to trust you, to be
Mhm.
transparent with them and being yourself.
Mhm.
That also, as I've learned as being a math teacher, which I don't know if I mentioned that explicitly last time we talked, but I actually teach math full time. And so being a math teacher last year, like being myself in front of the students, I've learned that their guard is completely down if they know that you're like not putting on a facade, like maybe some other teachers
Mhm.
in their lives have done.
Mhm.
So if you're going in there, you're just being yourself, you're completely and utterly like yourself. That's something that just made the process of my first year teaching last year just so much more smooth and enjoyable.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
there was a two-way trust kind of thing. So I think that
Mhm.
definitely on on YouTube channels and stuff like that, for me, seeing people and seeing the content reach more and more people, it's critical to be myself. My first
Yes,
season of my show,
it
for
is.
example, was very serious, looking at the camera, talking about serious topics, personal development, professional development, topics
Mhm.
that are very important. I even look back on them sometime, and it's a lot of great content there. My character of being a little bit silly or joking around or just being like more loose and more casual, that wasn't
Mhm.
relayed at all in the first 10 episodes. But once I got
Mhm.
my grounding a little more comfortable and stuff, it's kind of it's becoming just more fun to just be
Mhm.
yourself on camera, because I've
Mhm.
learned that people, and it's something that was not always easy for me to say about myself, because I usually don't like saying positive things about. I usually kind of keep it to myself, stay humbled. But I do know that like my interactions with people, generally people leave those interactions feeling good, uplifted,
Mm.
positive,
Yes.
entertained
Yes.
even.
Yes.
And that
And you can still
that's
speak highly of yourself and still be humble too. I had to learn that. That was something that I
uh-huh.
had to learn. You can
Yeah.
definitely speak because if, so let me ask you this, right? So when you say like you kind of like steer away from like speaking of good things or like highly of yourself, is it because of like how you think someone may perceive it? Is it was it or just like your like you didn't ever want to come off like boastful or
That more
something?
so. That more
Yeah.
so.
So I definitely can relate to that 100%. I found that I was surrounded or I was around people where I felt like I had to limit myself or I couldn't talk about my accomplishments or my goals because I thought that they would think that I was being boastful.
Mm,
But in actuality, you should be able to talk about your accomplishments. You should
mm-hmm.
be proud of doing whatever it is that you're doing or achieving something or just doing something that you love to do and not ever feel like you're being like arrogant or boastful or you're bragging. And you can still remain humble. But I find that if you're around people that make you feel like that, then um, those probably aren't like the good best people around you.
Right.
That's just like
That's
that's just
true.
something
Yeah,
that I've taken for myself. Yeah.
definitely. No, that's
Yeah.
very well said. I remember
Mhm.
feeling sometimes like when I have some exciting news about, oh, I just reached 1,000 subscribers, or oh, I
Mm.
just reached my 10th episode, or something like that. I'm like really, really excited about. And if I'm
Mhm.
talking to someone on the phone or telling them in person, and I'm
Mhm.
and I'm not getting the same energy back, I remember that
Mhm.
affecting me a lot. But
Mhm.
as I thought about it, and as I even spoken to a friend of mine who she shared this kind of tidbit of information with me that changed my whole perspective on it. I'll probably never forget it. She said,
Mhm.
Kevin, why should anyone else be even nearly as excited about those accomplishments as you are? They,
Mm,
the idea
mm,
is that this is your baby. This is what it is that you're
mm-hmm,
passionate about.
mm-hmm,
They
mm-hmm,
could and should be
mm-hmm,
happy for you,
mm-hmm.
and excited for you. But your excitement level should be significantly higher than theirs. And
Yes, yes,
it made sense to me, putting it that way.
yes. Oh, absolutely. Like your excitement, their excitement would never supersede yours because
Yeah,
it's your project, it's your baby.
yeah,
But there's a difference between having no excitement or there's a different there's a thin line there, right?
yeah, yeah.
Between, like, of course, if you're like, oh my god, I just reached 1,000 subscribers, and they probably not going to come back like, oh my god, that's great.
Right.
But if you get the oh, that's good,
Cool. And
it's
then
kind of,
boom, new topic, or looking on the phone
yeah.
or
All
something.
right, so
Yeah,
what about the Giants? See the Giants
yeah,
last night, like, you know what
yeah.
I mean? So you got to pay attention to stuff like that,
That's important. Yeah, that thin.
Yeah.
I like that thin line. I guess over
Hmm.
time you learn how to kind of traverse
Hmm.
that, and you
Hmm.
know that type of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm excited for our next conversation. We're gonna wrap just because we're over the time.
Are we?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Oh.
it's not a time, it's not even a time. Like I said, I can just keep talking, but we're gonna,
Hmm.
this is a lot of great content just for this initial conversation. I look
Yes.
forward to, man, I look forward to the
Absolutely.
release of your network and your talk show.
Thank
I will
you.
be tuning in. And
Thank
look,
you.
like I said before, I think my content, we'll talk about, whether, where the fit could be, in the future and stuff.
Hmm.
But from our previous conversation on the phone, I couldn't think of a reason not to want to partner with another like-minded person, in this type of way, if it makes sense for both of us. I'm putting
Hmm. Hmm.
so much, attention to detail into the content, and
Hmm.
it's a slow churn, growing on YouTube, kind of the reasons that you mentioned.
Hmm.
Slow churn, building your fan base through that and everything.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know
Hmm.
why I'm holding a USB jump drive in my hand right now, but I am. I don't know why. I just kind of am. It's one of the cool ones too. It's like a regular,
Yeah, I was
USB that
looking
we're
at it. It
used
looks
to, and then the
okay. Yeah.
USB-C on this end for my iPad. It's probably a little
I
blurry
need to
there.
get one of those. Yeah, I need
It's
to get
good.
one of those.
It's
Yeah.
super dope. Yeah. But I would love, yeah, I would maybe that's the jumping off point for our next conversation sometime in
Hmm.
January or February, and we
Yes,
kind of
absolutely. I'm
explore
really
that.
excited about coming back to talk with you and with all your viewers. Let them know how things have been going, new
Excellent.
content that the network has gotten. And I'm just excited. This will also reach out to other content creators that I'm sure watch your platform, and then maybe
Yeah.
if they want to collaborate on any space, that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to, like, I have to broadcast, or we can collaborate on anything. We could create something. I'm always willing to talk. I love to talk. I love to learn. I like to listen more than I talk, but I do like to talk.
Sure, sure.
But we can expound on that and just see
That
what happens.
sounds
Yeah.
that sounds
Hmm.
like a plan. Can you let my audience know? I'm gonna put down low as well, but let them know how to reach you on social media.
Yes. Yes. So on Instagram, I am Tisha Monee. This is my personal page is Tisha Monee, TishaMonee. My business page on Instagram is Kemistry TV Network, and that is chemistry spelled Kemistry TV Network. And there, I just want to mention very quickly that there is a significant reason as to why I spelled it that way as opposed to the original CH.
Hmm.
Like I said, I'm very in tune with, like, my culture, Black people, my community. So chemistry came from the original name of Egypt, which is Kemet, and it's spelled Kem. So that
Wow.
is why I spelled chemistry Kem, and also because it is older than the letters CH in the alphabet. It's like a big long thing, but
Yeah.
there's a significant as to why I spelled it that way.
All right, my friend. Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna let you have the rest of your night back to go spend with your fam. And
Thank you. This was a
yeah,
pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
the pleasure is all mine. I'll
Mm.
see you next time, and I'm looking forward to that January 3rd date.
Yes, January 3rd on Roku, Chemistry TV. Make sure you guys look out. Thank you
Let's
so
go.
much.
All right,
All
take
right. I'll
care.
talk to you soon.
All
Bye
righty.
bye.